And we are live. Alejandro Tornato coming directly from Beaufort, Georgia. And I'm so happy. Happy Friday to all of you. And it's great to be connecting with all of you on a brand new episode of Alejandro and Bob Unplugged. And as you can see next to me, it's my dynamic and energetic and full of vitality. And today, he's ready to rock and roll. So I want to welcome my dear friend Bob DiGiacomo. How are you doing, Bob?
Well, I'm coming to you from beautiful, sunny, overcast, glaring. I mean, you wouldn't even let me wear my cool Ray-Bans today. So you're going to get whatever you get. If my eyes suddenly go like this, it's because of the glare. I think you can tell I'm outside in the fresh air, practicing that ecotherapy we talked about the other day.
My good. I think it was last Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Saturday that I went to a nearby park in here, and I worked out a little bit and I walked, in nature. And then I did a Facebook Live from there. It was great. And I encourage people to being outdoors and to reconnect. If you have not connected with nature and be among trees and fresh air, it's amazing how that would revitalize your whole being.
Was that you I saw on TV? There was a helicopter shooting down because you're in the Atlanta area, and there was a helicopter shooting down. But I digress. But the great thing about ecotherapy is that those trees are not going to tattletale on you if you don't have your mask on.
No, that's exactly not. But listen, the topic for today is not ecotherapy.
No.
The topic of today is this. A lot of people, they want to get to a certain place in their life journey. Okay, they have a place, but you cannot get to a place that you don't believe exists. You see, before you can get to a certain place, you have to first believe in your heart that that place exists. Otherwise, you won't be able to, to arrive ever. If you want to go, on a trip, and if you want to go to Italy, let's say, well, you have to believe that Italy is a real place that exists, so you can actually get there. Well, in your life, let's say that you want to get to a place of being, let's say, an author, that you want to write a book. Well, before you can actually get to that place, you have to really believe in your heart that that place of you being an author really exists. Otherwise, you will never arrive. And that happens to everything that you think in your life. You have to believe that that place is a real place. Even if it's real in your mind, you really have to believe it does exist. So,
Wait a minute. You mean that expression? If you believe it and you conceive it, that you can then achieve it?
of course, anything that you think and anything that you believe in your heart, whether it's already physically there or not, you will get it if your belief about it is strong enough that you know that you're going to get there.
I don't know how many people watching this and first of all, by the way, I'm wearing my Italian tablecloth shirt tonight because we're having spaghetti and meatballs, and I believe that it's going to be one awesome meal tonight. So I'm in preparation mode.
Hey Bob, just one quick break because I want to take this opportunity to say hi to Cassie. Cassie is the lady who does my hair, and I have not been with her for a long time, so I am overdue. So Cassie is
And
great
hello,
to
Cassie,
see you
because
there.
I've got to tell you, Cassie, he refuses to turn himself completely around because he doesn't want anybody to see what he's been dragging behind him.
I pretty soon I'll need a rubber band. I mean, to keep
I
my
thought it was
locks
I
in
thought it
place.
was your Argentinian blood showing again. Back in the 50s, that was a start of what we used to call a DA. The first word was duck. I'll let you imagine what the other word was.
That's exactly right.
A
But
DA.
listen, just carry on. I mean, with this idea of believing in a place that you want to get,
Well,
and once you believe it, you'll get there.
I have a few places I'm going to speak to today, but as always, when you're speaking of things, you're reminding me of things, and my synapses are just firing away here, and I'm reminiscing, and I see my book that I've written that I've never written because I am so afraid that there will be things in my book that I don't want to put in my book, and therein lies the difference. But and that book I've written so many times. I've written that book so many times. In fact, I even came up with a title called "I Was a Late Bloomer Boomer" because I'm a baby boomer, and I bloomed. I didn't really bloom until I was almost out of high school. So I was a
That's
late
exactly.
bloomer boomer. And of course, you know where I'm at, that there's traffic that goes by here. And I'm just out here having a great ecotherapy moment here. The air is
That's
clean.
exactly right. And let me take a moment also to say hi to our dear friend Rick Hans. I mean, how's it going,
Oh,
Rick?
hey, Rick. Yeah.
I hope that you're having a great. Stay safe. Happy Friday
How
to
much
you.
did how much did you pay these guys to come on today?
Listen. My savings account have been
Well,
drained because these viewers are not cheap. Let me tell you. They cost an arm and a leg. Okay.
it's because of that sign you hung up above your head, and they're waiting for you to make that difference today.
You know, I this is not part of the topic today, but I love. Was that a motorcycle?
Of course.
Oh my goodness.
And
Okay.
she
Well.
didn't and she didn't have a mask on.
Oh wow. Okay, but don't listen. Don't call the police.
No,
Just
no.
give her a green pass.
She's already
Um,
gone.
but listen, I love to surround myself with statements of encouragement and statements of power. You can see there it says, "Welcome to the path less traveled." You see, that's the magical path. Is the path less traveled? Then it says, "Believe in the journey of your dreams." Then today I will make a difference. Then right behind me it says, follow your heart because it
Don't fall off
knows
your chair.
the way.
Don't fall off your. In fact, you're sitting down today, aren't you?
I'm sitting down
Oh my
in
gosh!
my movable stool.
Talk about somebody who's supposed to be promoting ecotherapy, and oh, well, so am I. Come to think of it. Oh my gosh, busted.
But
Look.
listen,
I
but listen, Bob.
I got to go into this. There is this land called Camelot.
Okay,
You see my name down the bottom because normally I'm intentional, but today I'm Camelot Bob.
that's right.
And it's technically a fictitious place, but really one doesn't know if it really ever truly did exist. But it
Mhm.
still to this day exists in many, many people's minds because everything is supposed to be hunky-dory, happy, healthy, and terrific in Camelot. But unfortunately, there's always a chapter in the story where things don't quite go so well. Now,
Mhm.
that reminds me of another place. Actually, I've got two more places, but I'll talk about the third one after I turn it back over to you for a moment. But there's another place called Shangri-La.
Oh, yes. I heard some time ago about Shangri-La. Yes.
Yes, and I believe that you were there last week, if I'm not mistaken. It's taken you all week to find your way back. The real question is, why did you want to find your way back? Because in the land of Shangri-La, everything is just wonderful. People don't grow old. There's no illnesses, no diseases. You never want for food. Everybody is happy, happy, happy. Today is Friday, and so you started getting on. I was all set to go happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, because you won't let me wear my sunglasses today. You're getting to see the real. But Shangri-La again was thought of to be fictitious, but in some people's minds, does it not really truly exist? The difference between what is real and what we perceive to be real.
I mean, that's exactly right. And one of the things that I wanted to also bring into this conversation is the fact that whether people believe it or not, we all have a purpose in life. And as I was looking purpose, and I was looking at the fact that we need to have a target to shoot. Okay. I came across this word, um, teleological. Okay, that we are teleological beings, and teleological comes from the Greek word telo, and telo in Greek is, it means target. You know, when you have someone with a bow and arrow, whether, I mean, they're in a competition, or they're just in a field, I mean, just shooting, um, if you have a bow and arrow, then can you imagine someone going out in the field, I mean, with a bow and arrow and just stringing that bow, but there's no target in front of them? So you're just shooting an arrow anywhere. I mean, there's no target to be seen. Now, most people who go and practice the sport of I mean, of hitting a target with a bow and arrow, they have a target to aim at and to shoot. If there's no target, there's basically, I mean, there's no game, and everything is boring, and there's no purpose to it. So in life also, the fact that we are teleological beings, that means that we are people with a purpose, people with a target to shoot. Now, some people, they don't know what their purpose is, and they have to find it. But there is always a purpose. There is always a place that we want to be, that we want to get at. Because if there's no target, then I guess life is meaningless. I mean, is that what you think, Bob?
Well, there was a day that I shot an arrow in the air and it fell to earth, I know not where. But you mentioned the word game. And again, it had many connotations because you were out in the field in the first place with your arrow because you were out there to shoot the game that you were looking to have dinner for that night. And if you
Yeah.
didn't get proficient, well, I guess you became a vegetarian. Now, the other part of that is that as we have gone through evolution with regard to archery, the art of pulling on that. Well,
That's right.
now there are counterbalances attached to the bow, and there's a special, you got to use a special string, and there's even a site in there that you. And I mean, poor William Tell, who was busy shooting apples off of his son's head, he did not have the advantage of all of these modern advantages. Um, so it became a different game, a different game. But as you were speaking and enlightening everybody on today's subject, um, I was thinking that with regard to animals, because you mentioned the human race, and with regard to animals and other creatures on this planet, they generally do everything by instinct.
That's right.
They know when it's time to make other animals of their kind. They know what they need to do to go find food and water. They know when they're supposed to go migrate from here to there, depending upon the season. Um,
Hmm.
but they're not thinking animals as we are. While we do have inbred instincts built into us, we've still got choice.
That's right. And not only that, but we that's right. I mean, we have the capacity to make decisions. You see, a bird that goes by instincts, you know that when it's getting cold where they are, and they begin to migrate south because that's where the warmer weather is. It's not that they're making a conscious decision to say, hey, listen, I know that it's getting a little bit cold here, so I have to start making my way south. No, 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 no. They don't go through that process of
You know,
deciding. It is just instinctively that that's what is being put inside of them. That's what's part of their I guess their mechanism for living. I mean, but a human being can say, okay, well, it's getting cold here. It's winter. Now, I can decide or not whether I'm going to go to a warmer place or stay here, and that has to be a decision made based on all these other factors. Well, I mean, a bird do not contemplate all these other factors because he cannot do it.
so are they truly concerned with what is real? Hence today's topic as to what is real, and because to them it is what it is.
That's right.
With us, reality is something that psychologically we can stand behind and hide behind reality and
That's
not
right.
want and actually turn our back on reality because we don't want to face reality. and
That
and we get deeper and deeper inside of ourselves, and sometimes we get so deep that there's a lock on the door and we don't come out. But I need to ask you about this other place that I understand may exist. I'm not sure. We haven't been sure for since the late 50s. There's this place called Area 51.
Oh, Area 51. Now is I don't know too much about Area 51, but
You're not
the one
supposed
thing
to.
but the one thing that I heard through the what is that, the grapevine, is that what
Mm,
they said, through the
that's what they say.
grapevine,
Yes, yes.
um is that Area 51 is related somehow to UFO sightings. Is that correct, or am I in the right track, or I'm
Yeah,
I'm completely on left field?
you're definitely on the right track, and I it's amazing. It's amazing that because I had to Google today things that don't exist, and you can still see me, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so I Googled this, and there's 10 top things that don't exist, and the first one on the list is aliens. Aliens don't exist. Okay, so that's something that you can choose to believe or not believe. The
No,
say
but hold on one second, Bob.
Yes.
When you go into Google and about things that don't exist, and the first thing that appears is aliens.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Is is that a belief that Google has that they don't exist? Because um, um, has
Oh,
has that been has that been 100% proven that aliens don't exist? Because the thing is this: the universe is consists of millions upon millions of different galaxies. So the expansivity of the universe is such tremendously huge that our minds cannot even begin to understand it. So are we saying that in all that expansion there may not be other people just like us, or perhaps
I
different
I
from
I
us?
was I was hoping you weren't going to go there today because with everything that's going on, we can't because if you disavow Google. And by the way, because we're on Chrome, which is owned by Google,
We may be shut down very
and
quickly.
because we're going to post this to YouTube, which is owned by Google, if we say things that are not accepted by Google, we're going to end up being blocked. And then we will not exist.
That-
Even though we exist.
that's right. Yes, exactly. That's right.
Oh, I was
I think,
hoping
I think
you wouldn't go there.
so. What is the second thing in the Google's list of
Well,
things that don't exist?
interestingly enough, it's ghosts. And you
So
got
aliens
to
don't
know what
exist.
you got to know what the third one is. Oh my gosh.
And
I,
what is the third one?
well, at first when I quickly read it, I thought it was umpires. No, no, no. Vampires don't exist.
Va- Oh, vampires don't exist. That
No.
means that all the movies that I saw when I was a kid about Count Dracula, they were not real stories, were they?
Well, I thought they were pretty real in my mind because, again, Google has decided to put this list together, and I can't disavow the reality of what they say because actually, number four is they say God doesn't exist, and then number five they say demons don't exist, and oh my gosh, number six, killer bunnies don't exist.
Now, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Now, let me ask you a question, and this is a real question, and this perhaps is a serious question.
Okay, I'm in serious mode here.
Now, don't you think that number one on that list should have been Santa Claus?
Well, obviously, somebody
Because
at
Santa
Google.
Claus, I mean, is he real or he's not real?
Well, if you take the literal translation of Santa Claus, it comes from the old days of Saint Nicholas. And of course, if you add the Italian accent into that, Santa Nicholas, Santa Nicholas, so Santa, and eventually became Santa Claus. So
That's right.
he exists in my mind because he continues to come that once a year if I've hopefully not been naughty and I've been nice. But the reality of today's topic is the fact that we need to have reality
Yeah,
in today's topic.
that's right.
And we have been blessed and we have been given with something that occupies up here, in here, which is fed with a lifeline of supplies from something that's in here. And if it
Mhm.
weren't for this controlling this and this control, amazing how that realization, that reality, that was a double traffic. I hope they weren't too noisy. But everything in here is real, and yet it took how many hundreds of years for us to conceive how all of this works, and we're still finding out how some of this functions. And I know that if they were to cut this off right now and have a look inside, that I've got a lot more neural folds than I had when I was um, a lot smaller, a lot younger. And most of the neural folds are dealing with the realization of what I've experienced in my life and what I've learned in my life. But yet there's a part in there that still allows for some of that dreaming, because you mentioned dreaming earlier.
That's right.
And if we don't dream, how many things would not be real today?
And as a matter of fact, I mean, it's not just dreaming when we are sleeping at night, but is I think that the best part of dreaming is dreaming when you are fully awake. Because when you're fully awake and you are dreaming on things that perhaps are not yet physically present, but they are very real in your mind, in your conscious and subconscious minds. They are real. It's just a matter of keeping them there long enough for them to go from a thought into a physical reality.
So the next time somebody comes up to you and says you're just stealing oxygen, I would take offense to that. But if they come up to you and say you're a dreamer, thank you.
That's exactly right, because I think that everything that you can see in the world today was at one point, it was somebody's dream.
Mm-hmm.
It was somebody's dream. I mean, you can say it was somebody's thought. Yes,
Well,
but
you and I were based on somebody's dream.
that's exactly right. I mean, everything that you see in this world, I mean, that is alive, and even objects and things and everything that we're surrounded with, it was at one point someone else's dreams, and I think that we need to keep nurturing our dreams. We need to keep nurturing, because if we want to get to that place that it is our desire to get, we need to nurture the dreams that we have right now.
And I think that's a great place for us to start closing down our talk today about reality existing and not existing. If you want to
Sure.
hear more, if you want to hear more about what we have been chatting on, be sure to go to iTunes and into the podcast section and look for Alejandro and Bob Unplugged, and you will find us. And there will be some more podcasts going up over the next week. So there'll be plenty for you guys to listen to. If you prefer the video version of us, if today wasn't enough and you want to see it again for the first time, you can currently go to my YouTube channel, which is Robert DiGiacomo. And there's a playlist there called Alejandro and Bob Unplugged.
That's right.
And at some point, to make it reality, we probably will have our own special YouTube channel where we'll just be unplugged.
That's right. Yes, and what you saw today, I mean, this impromptu, this spontaneity of interacting with the people who are watching live and so forth. This is all part of being in the unplugged movement. This is what unplug it's all about. I know that for some people they need a little bit of structure, but hey, in unpluggedness land, there is structure, but there's also creativity and messiness. It's sometimes when it's messy, when it's weird, when it's spontaneous, that, my friends, is where magic really happens.
Just
So
don't let Google know.
hey, Mr. Bob, any final words just to wrap all this up?
Well, I know you're going to close out by saying, make it a great, wonderful, spiritual, intentional Camelot day today.
That's right.
But
That's right.
I'll let you do that.
Exactly. So, listen, I hope that this episode, added value to you. Believe me when I say that we have fun doing this, but it's not just fun. It's a new learning opportunity. It's a new way, perhaps, of helping you to see things from a different perspective, from a different angle. And that's, we are contributing to your journey, to your growth. And live every moment, be resilient, and also be kind, be passionate. Don't forget to be intentional every day. And my friends, be well. And until the next time that we meet again, thank you so very much. Bob, it's great to connect with you all the time. All the best. Bye bye.
Bye bye.